Hi guys, alright, so I'm going to do a tutorial tonight on how I do my winged liner. Now, just as a disclaimer, I want to say I know my face is looking super light and bright, but I have awful lighting, especially at night, and I either make it so it's like this, where I am super yellow, kind of like that, or where my face is super bright. So I figure for the purpose of this, brighter is better. Alright, so a few things I want to throw out there. For me, at least, I always used to have the hardest time with winged liner because I would try it and I might get one side perfect. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. I might get one side perfect, but then my other side would be all janky and it was just a disaster. I mean, you guys, if I'm in a hurry especially, there will be times where I end up with this huge winged, I mean, it's more than a wing. It's like a whole bird happening on my eye that I have to, it could be a disaster. So for me, like the best advice is to just go really, really slow. And now, like once I've been doing it for so long, you know, I'm pretty fast at it. But at first, start slow and start really, really, really light-handed and little amount of product. For me personally, I just think that a winged liner makes a huge, huge difference with the way you look. All right, so here it is. This is just one version of how I do it. I say this, I think, in the video 7 times, but a lot of times I will end up making it even more extreme than this, less extreme, more kind of dipped and not so straight across. You know, you can play with it and find what you like best for your face shape and all of that stuff. Okay, so what I use today is the Wet n Wild Gel Liner in black. I use my Sonia Kashuk kind of bent, what's this even called? Bent angled brush, whatever. I use a concealer brush or a Q-tip to clean up and baby oil. So yeah, if you want to know how I do my winged liner, which I think a lot of you do because I always get requested to do a tutorial on this, then please keep watching. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and do this eye. I already did this eye so you could kind of see a point of reference here. And obviously, there are many, many types of wings. I do all different kinds. Usually, I prefer this kind of thing where it's a little bit flipped up at the end, but it's kind of straight out, and it's pretty thick in my outer corner. Sometimes I will have more of a dip in here. Sometimes I'll have it even farther out. Sometimes I'll have the wing even farther out. It just depends on my mood and I guess kind of the overall look that I'm going for. Alright, so first thing I'm going to do is take my gel liner. I'm using the Wet n Wild Pot in black. Now, this is a little bit dried up, so all I do is take my brush. This is a Sonia Kashuk angled eyeliner brush, and I'm just going to move my brush around here in the product to soften it up a bit. What you're going to end up probably with is a huge gunk of product. All I do is take my lid and wipe off my brush in the lid very gently to get that excess product off. All right, first thing I do that's very important is I like to get the brush flat, the bristles that is. You can see there's one little guy that's sticking up. All right, what I do is I start in the middle of my my lash line. I find that that's where the most product is distributed, so I like to get the excess product off there. Also, I don't go all the way into the inner corner, and I stop at about where the colored part of my eyeball ends. So I don't follow my lash line all the way down. Oh, focus. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some product on my brush, same kind of thing, find that imaginary line, and very, very lightly make a diagonal line outward and touch it all the way down to my lower lash line. Alright, then you might need to get a little bit more product, you might not, just depends. I'm going to go just a smidge in from the very outside of the line and connect it to the work that I've already done and fill in that gap there. And now, as you can see, you can just kind of go in and even things out. This side's a little bit thicker, as you can tell. So what I'm gonna do is just connect it a little bit higher here. Bring a little more product. To make this line a little bit thicker. And normally what I do is I extend it a little bit more than what I want, because what I'll do is I'll clean it up so that I can get the perfect edge. Alright, so I went ahead and added a little bit more thickness underneath just so I can show you guys how I clean it up. Alright, so what I use is just my container of baby oil and either a concealer brush or a Q-tip, whatever you have lying around. Really, I just grab whatever I have handy. Alright, so what I do is just I'll use my concealer brush, take my concealer brush, dip it in just the top, because I always have like a little bit of excess baby oil up here. Get the baby oil on the brush, and now all you have to do is just run your concealer brush or your Q-tip over the part that you don't want there. So usually what I do is, obviously this is way too long, so I'm just gonna take and run my concealer brush over the top of this edge. You wanna make sure you wipe it off so that you get rid of kind of this excess here. A little bit more there. So you can tell that shortened it up quite a bit. I'm still gonna need to go a little bit shorter, but now I'm gonna work on the thickness a little bit. Get some more baby oil and just, you do have to kind of press a little bit firmly. I guess it depends obviously on your brush. But I just keep going over it until I get a thin enough line. Alright, so now I have the thinness that I wanted. Now I just need to take it down a little bit more. I know this is kind of tedious, but to be honest and to be realistic, at least for me, I never get my lines perfect. Sometimes I'll even end up with like this huge fat glob of color. I don't know how it gets there, but like all the way down here. So sometimes I have to clean up even more than what I'm having to do now. So I'm just gonna go ahead and keep cleaning this line up until I get the perfect amount of wing that I want. Alright, so I went ahead and finished up both eyes here. This is one way that I do my winged liner. Now obviously if you were getting ready to go out or if you're working, etc., you'd want to touch up any places that you need to. For example, I always end up wiping off the concealer or foundation that I have on the outer corners of my eyes right here, so I always need to kind of put a little bit of concealer. Sometimes I might need to take like my 217 brush and just put a little bit more eyeshadow up through here if I've knocked any of that off, but since I'm not doing anything, I'm not gonna do that. Alright, so yeah, that is how I do my winged liner. I hope you found it helpful. I hope you found, you know, some kind of tip or technique that I use that you could try to help benefit your winged eyeliner look. So yeah, if you have any questions, let me know, and thanks for watching, guys. Bye.